Welcome to episode 2 of the special Stoned Ape custom game. This was set teams were team captains. Little recap here, there were 5 teams, 6 players each. For my team, it was myself, Graymason, Macomber, Chicago Reaper, Dark Lord, Yards, and GB. Dark Lord and Chicago Reaper are all but dead. So let's go through what's happening politically. If you look at the boards, Yars, GB, Macomber, myself are all decently high, in part because we've consumed Tenorizu. Tenorizu used to be between GB and myself. He's gone. And Yars basically took most of Luke's stars in the bottom, working with Joestar Empire and Gingy. So in the south here, we're actually in really good shape. When you look at what's going on, Yars is very strong right now, and should be able to spend some of these southern ships over to fight one of the bad teams, Bellum. Bellum is working with Kane, so those two would be the next two troops, two empires they face, and that's Gingy and a little bit of Joestar Empire. Over in this corner here, Stoned Ape is our person getting weapons, and he's fending off Kane and Bimbo. And then you have Anaris. So you have that battle going on. On our side, we should have killed Bio M6 right away. I spared him, made a stupid deal. But now we basically have Yarns coming up, GB coming up, and this portion of my army fending this off and hopefully pushing them back and killing Bio next. So Bio is the next target for this, folks. And then in the north, Chicago Reaper died. Basically, he's on 1 star. And so Macomber here is fending off Belson, Grasshopper, and Jubalfett. So I started sending some ships up. You can see the little green in here to help defend. And that's where we're at. If you look at where we stand as a whole, like our foursome against the 6 empires I just went through, basically, yeah, we're fighting Belson, Grasshopper, Not a Scam, Karen, and Bio. So those 6 are all fighting us 4, and Yards is also have some ships down in the south. So right now they have about 1,000 more ships than we do, but our production's about the same. If we're able to take a couple stars out, it'll tip in our favor. And then hopefully over in the west, Stoned Ape and Spymore can hold out long enough. But one of the problems is I got a little intel here where basically this is Spymore, and he said, yep, he was holding out for a while, but then finally he showed me that Lawrence showed up at his doorsteps, and he's like, he can't hold off all of them, and the rest of his alliance is in a position to help. So there's a very strong alliance with Joestar Empire and myself, and there's a strong alliance between Jubalfett and Lofty. So these greens and blues are really all one color, just like the red and yellows are one color. And then purple is they're on their own right now, but they're fighting my alliance. So it's not looking good. It's kind of a 2v2v1 situation right now, with the north looking stronger. So that's how we start episode 2. Let's see if we can hold them off, make some progress, or if we just end early and watch Jubalfett and Lofty rule the roost. Alright, this is a game-changing day in this game. So let me just talk through a little bit of what's happened to get us there. Just a quick recap. Take a look at the tick. This is the number of hours or cycles that the game's gone through, and we're watching not just the red, but what's happening in the south. Because at the end of the day, the blue and the green are the teams to beat, Jubalfett and Lofty. And you can see that they continue to grow to the point now where they're solid. They have this entire portion. They've pushed down into the southeast section, and Spymort, who's here, is starting to fall. In addition, you have Team Purple. So we took out Tenarazu and Luke from Bellum's team, but you have Bellum, Kane, and now Bimbo. Those three left, and they're killing Stoned Ape. Stoned Ape is our weapons person. So Team Jewish Star Empire has already down a couple people. They're left with Jewish Star Empire, Gingy, who's crippled, awesome guy who's our awesome dude. I don't know. He's not very active. And then that's it. They're getting wiped off. And so my issue has been for the last several days that the South needs to unite together and make it a 3 versus 2 against the North. I went and created a thread and basically asked them to do it. And what came back was, Kane saying he sees where we're coming from, but basically they're in 3rd place now. They would still end up in 3rd place, and ask for things that we just weren't going to be able to do. And so basically I'm like, you know what? It just might be too soon. Everyone's not desperate enough. Okay, so fast forward. People are desperate now. Spymore, like, I'm dead anyway. Stoned Ape is like, I'm dead anyway. Let's use this to our advantage. The question for Spymore is, who does he give his stars to? Does he give it to Team Jubalfet, to Team Lofty, or to Team Bellum? And he can decide who's going to get stronger, who's going to grow in this region by who he fights and who he gives his stars to. And so today I initiated this plan and basically said things have changed. Tenarazu's dead. Luke's going to be dead in 6 hours, which he's got 1 star, but he's effectively dead. Spymore is on his last stand. He's determined who he fights and who he gives his stars to. And despite what anyone thinks, because I've heard like, oh no, Lofty and Jubalfet, there's tension. There's not tension, because at the end of the day, they have no one else to go to. And Lofty has no one else to go to, and Jubalfet was going to continue to use Lofty because they're in a better position, they're stronger, they're better players, and so Jubalfet just wins. And Lofty doesn't really have another option. So I proposed that Team 5, my team, which is 4 players left, Macomer, Gray, GB, and Yars, all attack north. We take on Belson, Jubalfet, Grasshopper, Bio, Karen, and Scamp. It's a 4 versus 6, but when I looked at it, the numbers were pretty even, especially if the second thing happens, which is the Western 3 Geostar Empire players, Gingy, JSE, and Awesome Dude, defend versus Lofty, while the Southern allies move north, and then all 3 of these 3 players, push into Karen in the middle. What that does is it stops. So now instead of a 4v6, it's a 4v5. We win that for sure. We for sure win that. And then the next piece, Spymore gives his stars to Anaris and Binbo. Now, what I didn't know is those 2 players are already consolidating. So Anaris is giving his stars to Binbo, which brings down the purple team to just 3 players. Stoned Ape, I said, let's do something, but later on in the conversation, it was no, Stoned Ape gets divvied up. And when you see down here what the agreement was, he basically says he has 27 stars, here's his stats. Jewish Star Empire would get 13 of his stars worth X. Kane and Binbo split the rest. So this section gets split up. I think that meets the request from Team Purple, from Bellum's team, and it then gives Purple team a clear path into Lofty, who's growing in this section. Jewish Star Empire just has to defend and push here, and then Purple team pushes into Lofty. So that's what it's looking like it's going to be. You see there's a lot of red here. We have peace along these borders, and all the fighting's now in 2 fronts for us. The war zone, the Middle East, which is it's more like the Middle West on this map, which is Biostar. So we're going to look at that, and then this mess that is the Northwest, that Macomer's been doing an awesome job defending. and I've only sent about half of my ships up. So if what my goal is to get just a few more stars and then push up into here. But I've been sending some, push up everything into there. If I can get to those stars, then everything would just flow up, and then Bio, or then GB and Yars can push up as well. So let's now go back to the actual map, and you can see where things stand. And again, Yars, GB, Macomber. That's my team. Top 3 right now, and probably going to grow. So we're well positioned. So this first is it's a mess. It's just an eyesore. But basically, I do have some ships arriving. I was going to try to snipe this, but Belson, he's no fool. He's like, nah, get out of here. I'm not going to let you do that. So I'll just defend. We got Chicago putting his last ships up on the Ninja headquarters to help defend. So yeah, it's kind of ugly what's going on over here, but yeah, if we can pick something off, that would be good. But I think right now we're still in defensive mode. And then they also, it's hard to see with this mess, but Jubelfett and Grasshopper did a joint attack. We caught it. Comer had just 1 tick to catch it, and he did. And so this will be fended off successfully. 106 ships live, and then I show up before anyone else with another 250. So once I arrive, we can do a counter punch if we want to. And again, I have more ships coming up as well. So trying to get some defense and really just hold. He did a little counter strike on the monastery, which he's going to lose. Yeah, but it'll be weakened. I actually might be able to send my ships and take that. And maybe I do that. So that's the northwest. And then down here, here's what's going on. You have GB coming up, and you can see he's getting his ships flowing. You got Yars flowing up. He's already taken a couple of hits into Bio. Right now he has them coming back. I'm like, please don't. Just send him into meat hooks. Send him into the headquarters. Make him respond. Now, we're down, by the way, by about a day now in weapons. We are behind, but we have to just push anyway, I think, because we're going to have overwhelming numbers. We need to start getting this cluster. Once we break this cluster and Bio goes down, and we have Awesome Dude and Jewish Star Empire pushing to Kraken, or Karen, or whatever his name is. Apparently it's whatever. Yeah, the tides churn really, really quick. So we just got to blow this section up. Now, it is currently 10:10 in the U.S., the East Coast. I happen to know Bio is in Europe. And so it is about 3 a.m. for him now. And I'm launching. And you can see here, let's watch this. Let's see what happens. Here's the tick. Well, we'll look at that in a sec. So I'm launching because I should be able to take this, which then defend this push from this little fortification. And then once I get past that, I can just start trying to pick off some easy stars. He's got this big clump. Now you got a decision. Are you going to go try to defend your stars? Are you going to counter push? What are you going to do? Don't know. Because, oh, by the way, you push in on me, I've got my buddies coming. I got my boys. So now what are you going to do? And yeah. So let us see what's going to happen here. All right, so he has some ships coming up here, which is fine. I launched everything. It all went, and so they're gonna land in 5 hours. When you look here, he can cover it in 5 hours. He's got 60 minutes. He's got 59 minutes to catch this. It's 3 in the morning, Bio. You want to play with the big boys. That's what you got to do. You better set your alarm and be checking every hour all night. No way. This will be mine next time we do it. I'll take this. I should survive with 343. Now, because the weapons advantage, it does hurt. He's going to land here. I'll blow that up, but I'll get the defensive bonus, 242. More than enough. And I may just just map this out right now. 5 for me is going to be 2 in the morning. I'm not going to be awake. So here's what we do. We're just going to push right into that 2. And let's see. We can just keep going. Yeah, we're going to... do I just send everything? I kind of want to defend my base. Oh, I can't. Wait, I can't send everything. So I'm just going to send... How many do I want to send? All right, I need to think about it a little bit. But we're gonna drop all. We're gonna drop all, but we'll just send. We'll send 50. We'll send 50. There we go. So 50 will move on, and then actually, yeah, everyone else drops, and then we'll even go hit that next, just to be a jerk. Because it'll force him to hopefully overreact when he starts seeing his stars go away. And again, like, okay, you want to counter push? Fine. I probably do want to. I don't have a lot there, but I probably do want to send those. Anyway, big day. A little bit of in the weeds tactics, but big picture, this was a monumental day on this arrangement. Actually, I'm still waiting for them to agree. I'm assuming they're going to agree. And what that does is it makes the 4 of us, it makes the 4 reds strong. Yellow is essentially dead, but Jewish Star Empire has been a stalwart ally this whole time, and I'm certain when it's down just to him that he will back me over anyone else, so it's like an extra player on my team. And we kill the North, and then we kill Bellum and Kane. It's going to be a question of when do we turn on them, but for now we got to kill the monster in the North. Cycle 9, early stages. Bad news is we have a rejection from Bellum. Even though they were going to get half a JSE and a spy mort, I think my guess is that they declined it because they're going to get that and more, and they don't want to see us tied together. And get the North angry with them, so they'll stay focused on us. My guess. He says he's open. Bellum is open to working with us in the future. So now I need to talk to JSE. I will not attack him and take his stars by force, but the question is, will he see that he is dead and sacrifice them to us to help us? The problem is Yars was a little overly aggressive with Jinji, and that may make them not want to give us the stars, so we'll see. Yeah, so that's it. Beyond that, so I did my little secret attack, my little nighttime attack. I don't know, Bio must be busy today, because he didn't see me take it. He didn't see me take his next star. He hasn't reacted me moving on a 3rd star. So I assume like Scamp is going to catch it and try to pick me off. But for now, I'm just going to keep picking them off. That's five industry that I have that Bio doesn't, right? So I was 64 and he was 59. So that, now I'm getting 10 more ships every hour than him, and that's great. You have Yars, who did react in time to send his stuff up to Meat Hook. You've got GB, who's just continuing to flood his ships in, and yeah, so hopefully we crack Bio soon. And if that's the case, keep in mind, like, look at this. He's got 1,200 ships here against my, like, 500, 600. He's got double the ships. So I don't know why. I don't know. You gotta wake up. You gotta play the game. Beyond that, up in the North, it's kind of status quo. There's just a little bit of jockeying over this 1 star, the monastery. A lot of fighting at the monastery. You would think you wouldn't fight in a monastery. And I did get to reinforce the Han Solo replicant farm. So stable for now. I'm continuing to send more ships up north and making progress on Bio. But the bigger picture is a huge loss because the South is not united. So looking grim. All right, we're going to jump into a late Cycle 9 update. The plan that I talked about earlier today was rejected by Bellum. They basically just said thanks but no thanks. And I'm presuming, because when you look at Bellum, and then watch real close at the text, when you look at Lofty, the same text. So they're just in cahoots, and they're like, there's no reason for us to make this deal because we can just take all of this anyway and more. So the deal's off. Now, I reached out to Bellum and saying, hey, just because, JSC's team's out of your deal, would you work with us? And the answer was maybe, but not yet. Be patient, which to me is just no. And that's fine. So then I reached out to Jubalfet, and I'll talk about that one in a second. And basically said, let's what can we do about the northwest corner? And I basically, so it's basically all the people that's fighting in the northwest corner, letting them know that yes, of course I wanted to kill you guys, but if I can't win, I want Lofty to lose, and if we fight, we're helping Lofty. So you can see that Lofty and Bellum have a relationship and are sharing weapons. If you want to keep fighting, that's fine, but I'm asking for a ceasefire. And they basically said they would consider it. So when we look at what's going on up here, we're continuing our assault. Like, I think Macomber takes this star here and this star here, and temporarily that star there, he'll lose it. We're fending off attacks. We're actually doing pretty good now that I got up and got some supplies to reinforce. But it's really fragile, and at any moment, like 500 ships could come in that we can't accommodate and just blow us up. So I'm asking for a ceasefire, and if we can get a few more stars first, that'd be great. And then just for getting everyone, I reached out to Team Lofty and said, die, 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 die. And then I taunted them because when Bio was asleep, I went and I took his stuff. They talked about forgiveness, and we got a little thumb calling. Then I said, he called me a monster. I said, I'm going to eat him, and go from there. So let's just zoom in real quick on what did happen, because it is a lot. I took over this star, then I took over this star. Actually, yeah, so I took over those 3 stars. And at this point, I've just been playing like the shell game. And so when I left here, I actually, right before I lost the star back, I sent 80 up to the star. And then I took the star. And Scamp responded first, so essentially we transferred the star from Bio to Scamp, and then I went over and took the star and then transferred it from Bio to Karen, and then he went and Karen moved, and then I'm going to go and take it back. So I'm just kind of dancing around, just causing chaos. I'm really just stalling. I'm stalling because they have double the ships over here and for some reason aren't attacking me. I'll take it because I'm sending too many troops north to help up there, which is working. And I'm waiting for GB, who's GB, I like you. You're a solid player. Your carriers and routes are atrocious, and like I don't know it's like you're gonna go in circles, and I don't. And there's 400 ships that are just kind of meandering without it. We have 1 warp gate, but no other warp gate. Come on, GB, you're better than this. So, so he's helping. He's already sent a few hundred ships in, but honestly, there could be a lot more at the front lines if he would have had more carriers. He's 14 carriers for 34 stars. Woefully inadequate. No infrastructure. No. And so it's hurting. But either way, right now, if they don't respond, he takes over Bio's home star. I'm certain they will respond and take it, but all that's really doing is stalling, because over here, Yars finally got through and took a star. We've got 600 ships coming. We've got Dark Lord's original homeworld that's relatively open, and so he's going to warp gate this bad boy, and we're going to flow some ships up here and try to take over some stars. We're going to try to take over this little area right here. Now, you may be wondering, why do you have so much more vision? Thank you, JSC. JSC gave me his API code with a formal alliance with Gingy, and and awesome dude, which is what because of this, it gave me full vision, or much more vision, so we could plan and plot this attack knowing what's just beyond the horizon. Knowledge is power, and with his willingness to share his API key, and now I can view what everything's going on. I was able to look at this and say, okay, you've got 200 ships here sitting idle. Go attack right there to Sahal. He could even attack over here, but I don't want him to actually take a star that we could take. So just send that over here, because it still would cut off reinforcements, and still he may get a star. It would be a glorious thing. So he's defending well. He's got 200 ships that was defending against this cluster that won't attack him now that we've got 600 of our ships coming up. So we're actually working together because we see the full vision. We see what each other's doing. We don't have to fear each other. Star Empire is fending off Lofty's attack here. Only a few stars left from Dalinar. And Stone Dape, unfortunately, is falling and giving his stars to Star Empire. And then the last piece that we saw, because we have the vision, we're like, oh, okay, you know what? Gingy's doing okay. And so we talked and we coordinated, and basically Star Empire now feels empowered to Star Empire incoming is sending some ships down, because Bellum is actually fairly weak. So 1,500 ships, 13. So he's barely ahead of him. Get a little bit more from Star Empire, and then what we said Yars could do is all this bottom stars can group together here, accumulate, and then take these 4 here and keep on going, because we know everything that Bellum has is up in this middle. So if he can swoop through, he should be able to clear out, and Yars can probably get this whole bottom section here if we work well together with 3, one, half of one, and a quarter of one. I don't know, it's almost 2 people against 1 is more than enough to take Bellum out, or at least to get some damage done. So that's where we stand. I have an open invitation to team with Bellum. He basically is still saying no. I have an open invitation to deal with Jubal Fett. I hope he says yes. I kind of doubt he will. The only thing that gives me hope is, well, now he has a lot of the tech, but he didn't before. Oh, now they have the same tech. Well, that's disappointing. But either way, that's what I'm hoping, is that we can create some chaos and create some infighting in the north, so we can survive. All right, so that is the mid update. The next big thing is, let's see if we can hold in the middle, and if Yar's 600 ships can cause some serious damage off in the eastern flank of Bio. All right, we're in cycle 10. It's a roller coaster ride, so we could not unite the south. I reached out to Bellum separately again, and they're still saying hold tight. I reached out to Jubal Fett saying, hey, can we do a ceasefire in the northwest, and I can pivot and attack Lofty? And they said no. And then you also can see that Hex is starting to eat and consume Jubal Fett. Jubal Fett's only got 8 stars left, so they're consolidating in the north. I reached out to Lofty, this person I said I would never work with this game, and said, hey, we're going to take this cluster here as biostars, and then we have a decision to make. We can either attack you, or we can attack Jubal Fett. And I understand you guys don't feel comfortable attacking Jubal Fett, but that's my option. So I said, if you call off Scamp, and we're going to retake this area, we can funnel up and attack Jubal Fett. You guys can attack Jubal Fett. Lofty's working with Bellum and Kane, and I said, you know what? And then JSE, those guys can fight down there. Now they don't know that we're going to attack too. Yars is he's gonna go down here, and within a few hours he's going to show up. But basically, we told Lofty, if you work with us, we will not attack you. And he's like, well, I can't attack Jubal Fett because I have JSE attacking me. I'm like, well, we'll talk to him and he'll stop too. And then JSE and Gingy will just attack Bellum and Kane, and then we'll just attack Jubal Fett, and no one will attack you. So I hope it's compelling. I do think it would be okay for him, but what that would mean for us is Jubal Fett I'm sorry. It would be, yeah. We would have three people pushing in here without Scam. Jubelfett's team would crumble because we have a lot of power against him, and then JC would not have to worry about his flank and should be able to focus. So that is politically the big picture. What's going on? You have Bimbo now, who's grown quite large and will continue to grow large. And if you look at where he's at, 130, 155, like he's way ahead of me. And you look at who's our biggest. Our biggest is Yars, and he's bigger than us. So it's the South is it's going to be interesting, right? Because you have Bimbo, Kane, and Bellum. So this group right here, and right now we just have Gingy and JSE dealing with that. But Lofty's attacking JSE, and JSE's desperate. So but he's been great for me, and so you can see on this front now he's attacking. Gingy's attacking. He actually just took the star over. We've got great vision. We did have vision of Cool Hand Luke is going to be the home for Luke. He has one ship that's still flailing about. And like I said, in a few turns, we have these stars down here. It's going to start and try to pick off. There's some pretty good stars down here too. So between the three teams, even though it's going to be full all of Gingy. And so just look at this. So Gingy's at 1800 and Bellum's at, so he already is bigger, right? He's already bigger just himself, but then he's also going to get help from us and from Jewish Star Empire. And if we can get Lofty to not attack, that would be really good news. The problem, of course, is Stoned Ape is almost dead, and once that happens, then Kane turns on JSE as well. So we do need to get rid of Bellum as quickly as possible so that when they go to turn, it's only two players. Now, those two players are getting weapons from Bellum or from Lofty. But what are you going to do? If we're not having to fight the ships, that would be a big help. So that's the front in the south. Let's go to the far side in the north. Macomber is really good. He was able to take this star, take this star. He's going to take this star. He took this star. He's kind of made some big strides for 4 or 5 stars he was able to take without losing anything and really low risk. So if you look at where you have Belson, who's somewhat close to me, or so, right? And then but Macomber is very strong. Oh, he's going to send me this banking. I already prepaid for that. So we're going to pull away. So we're ahead up on manufacturing, terraforming, and we're behind on weapons to the board at large. So big showdown here. We made some progress. They're pushing in, but those are going to be easily defended. I had to take a little bit of a pause because, so we're doing well. We'll see what happens when Hex shows up. My understanding from Lofty is he says Lawrence and Hex are in a Cold War and having to keep a lot of ships on each other's borders, and hopefully that continues. So there's not a lot that end up floating our way, because right now we're fighting Belson and Grasshopper and Jubelfett / Hex between just Macomber and a handful of ships that I can afford to send. And then the last front is this middle section, the Bio Dark Lord stars, which Yars did a lot of good work. He was able to capture here, warp gated in, get this star. He had this one temporarily, and he's going to retake it again. This is a homeworld from the Dark Lord that we would like to recapture. He was able to get this star, this star. He had the Vega core for a while. He actually temporarily owns, for one tick, Yars is going to be owning the whatever the name of that is. So it's and he's going to take Mustafar, and he's going to take these two. And so at this point, you have Karen, and a little bit of Bio pushing back, but we've got a foothold now, and he's flowing the ships up. They're arriving, and then the last front is finally you have GB with his wall of warp gates He's got a nice big clump coming all the way up there. It's going to be, well, that'd be a lot of ships. He's got this guy coming up. So there's all these ships are right on the front. I asked him just to send these 200, just attack Meat Hook. Those 300 attack Meat Hook. Because Bio's been pretty AFK. I was able to, if you recall, take this little range of 3 stars, and then I ran away up here. And so I actually still, for this last turn, I own this end of Bio. So I was able to get this little chain, and what's happening is I had 180 ships following my 80 ships. So I pulled them off the front line to chase my little things, and effectively I swapped it from being Bio owned to either Scamp or Karen owned, which is better because it's not a consolidated power. When you have all that clump of stars, you can group them quicker. But when you only own 1 or 2, it's harder to manage your armies. And so kind of keeping it now, looking, it's all like a rainbow of colors. There's different greens and blues and purples. Everyone, different people owning these areas. It helps. And so as soon as GB comes in here and crashes down, but when you look, there is a lot of ships here. So 566. So there's, let's just say that's 1100. There's 1600, 1700. There's 2000, 2100, 2400. So there's 2400. Oh, I missed that one. 2500. So there is 2500 ships, enemy ships, in this little section. I've got like 1,000. I don't know why they're not attacking me. This is such a common mistake where I think they're just afraid. They don't want to lose a star. And they see these other things and, oh, what if they? Just don't worry about what if they attack. If you double them, if you got 2,500 ships to my 1,000, first of all, from right here, what they could have done, I'm like, if I saw this, they have view of my homeworld. I have like 100 ships on there. They had at one point like 500. They could just warp gate that, and they could have taken my home star. It could cause serious damage, but they're not. And by them not, I did take this 260 to try to reinforce a little bit instead of helping Comer, but this is, I'm so vulnerable. And they're not taking advantage of it. And they're buying time for, because they're sending, like they're still sending, like this 130, he was losing stars, but he would rather stop me than keep his own stars from being taken. And I think it's like because it's me. But like, okay, you know what? Fine, you stopped me, you held me up. But guess what? My teammates running rampant. So once GB sends his ships, he's going to send 200, send 500 right now. So that 2,500 is going to go down to 2,000. And oh, by the way, I said just attack Meat Hook, because if he's not paying attention, which he hasn't been, then he might be able to take the home star, and then it's just over in the center. Then things will flow because he'll have to crash everything in it. He'll take the defensive hit. And by the way, he's up in weapons, so him and not a scam. So they're up in weapons, but again, we're up in terraforming and banking and manufacturing. I'm on manufacturing now, but yeah, that's it. Oh, and I guess talking of where things stand, when you look at the science front, number 1 now is Yar. So he's at 41. They're all in the 30, so 10 above. So they're 1 full weapon level ahead of us, but we're going to be gaining on them every tick. 10 more signs. We're going to start closing that gap. And as we close that gap, we're also going to be taking on these stars. We're going to be taking on these stars. And as long as we continue to hold everywhere else, we may just win this 3v2 or 2v3. I don't know. Feels like it's us against JSE and I against the world, but it may pan out. Cycle 11. This is getting intense now. Let's just go through. First of all, Lofty said no. Everyone's saying no to working with me except JSE. So we're 2 on 3. Let's look at each front. You can see here that Jubalfet has abandoned. He's down to 1 star and 1 star only. I'm not sure actually where his 1 star is anymore. Oh, this star. And so He's basically relinquished his stars mostly to Hex, who's come in from here. And so now we're dealing with Hex, Grasshopper, Belson, those three. And the fourth was Jubelfett. And then, so on this, in this northwest corner, that's what we're facing. And you can see they also just launched, and this is, I did the quick maths here. Yeah, so 493 arrive at 9 hours, and then another 408 in 16 hours. And so we're going to need, when you do the math for that, we need 400. We're going to have 435, and we need 440. So like 5 short. And this 162 arrives in 1 hour later. So worst case, we lose the star for 1 tick and then take it back over with 162. He does have the secret monastery, ninja monastery to defend, and if this tick, I don't know if he's awake. If he sends this observation station up, he can also, this was only 9 hours, but he's got to do it this turn, and then that'll defend it. I have 435 headed here, and if he warp gates this, they'll be there in 9 hours. Otherwise, it'll be 1 day and 10 hours. So hopefully, if that, but this first long leg is in 9 hours. And then what would this be? So from here to here, 9 plus 4. Yeah, that would be 13, which is before the 400 arrive. So we could, with him not even moving this supply, defend all these attacks off. So so that's the good news. And up here, nothing really going on. So a lot of activity, a lot of movement, but Jubelfett is essentially out of the game. And I think that's good. He's a strong defensive player. So that's that corner. And honestly, it's going to be harder for Hex to get all grouped up and come over. It's a longer journey, so attacking into somebody's core is always harder. And they don't have the big weapons advantage that our enemies do. We're actually ahead of them in weapons, and so that definitely helps. Although it looks like Grasshopper is now at 8, he'll send it, but this is actually surprisingly not the biggest danger zone for us right now. I just don't see us advancing, but we should be able to defend. Where we are going to make some ground here is this section where Yars is about to take another star here. We have Lofty coming over to try to help this team. And Awesome Dude's going to get up here and defend it in time. And we've got more ships coming. And then if the other piece is GB. He came to the game. In 37 minutes, he's going to take over the Rust Dust Guts. And with the 900 there, how many is going to survive? 475 will survive. Yeah, that includes that. So 475. So and then he's still got another 400 here, which should be more than enough to take some of these low stars in this area. And so what I did is, since I saw him finally attacking, there's just this cluster of 4 stars that's got just a lot of things. So I'm like, well, I know that Scam is West Coast US, which means that he is still asleep. And so with that, I can attack without him cutting the warp gate. I'll be there in 3 hours, 2.5 hours. And if Bio does not respond in time, then I will take that with 190 ships to spare, and then I could go and start helping on some of these weaker ones, and pushing up into this lane up top. Eventually, I need to get rid of these 2 big clusters of stars. It's just obnoxious because it also threatens all of them. He could counter me, no problem, but I think he just is feeling the pressure of everything on his borders. Because if he were to send these into me, then just GB definitely takes them in. So I think he's a little bit paralyzed right now. So we take out this cluster. This whole cluster should be going down. Like this whole cluster should be going down. And when this whole cluster goes down, we can push back into here and help push up into here, or help. So this is good. So we're going to defend, hold the ground, grab this entire cluster of stars, which is huge, and then and then we just have the south. So what's going on? First of all, Geostar Empire is just getting abused right now by he's getting abused by Lofty, who's hitting him. He's getting attacked by Bimbo. Well, technically Stone Ape is, but and what Bimbo does is going to be of grave importance, because I'm assuming he's going to come this way. But Bimbo is the Godzilla of the game, as they're talking in Discord. He is just double my star count. He is way ahead. And when you look in the intel charts, he as an individual has skyrocketed his economy. Him and Lofty are the top two. Industry, so he is a monster. Science. That being said, it is what it is. GIC's holding off the best he can. But in the south, what we have going on is, oh, look at this, he's leaving. What we have is Yars pushing in the south, and nice of him to leave that for us. Maybe he's just trying to sacrifice that to save this one. I don't know, we'll see. But Yars should, without too much problem, take all these, because Bellum's down to 1600. He did make a push and do a little star swapping. He pushed on JSE. This should get cleaned up, and he was able to take some stars here. We've got Gingy pushing in here. You have Kane now supporting. So basically, the goal in the south is to remove Bellum. You have Luke finally getting a star back, and if we take out Bellum too, we already killed Tenor and Zoo, so that's 1, 2. They ate their third. They're down to 3. We kill Bellum, they're down to 2, just Kane and Bimbo. Now, Bimbo is a beast, but and the problem is, you think, well, with only 2 you don't get enough tech. But Team Lofty is, whoops, sorry about that. Team Lofty is basically working with them and giving them all the tech. So that's going to be a problem, and that's what that's going to do is it's going to make it a real formidable opponent. And I think honestly, Lofty, Bimbo, Kane, that combo is going to be, I don't know if that's the harder thing or now Belson and the North. So either way, it's going to be tricky. But if we can make this line, if we can get, this line here, this cluster here, that's what we need to get half. And once we get half the galaxy, then we essentially have won, because we can just push out the rest. But as it stands now, we are not at that. And I don't think any other teams are fighting. And that's the problem, right? Like, no one else is fighting except for against JSE and my team. It's going to be really hard to win that way. But that being said, it's possible, because you have some players that are just not as active. And okay, what's Gizny gonna do? Is he really gonna just do nothing and just travel across the galaxy? At some point, these guys gotta fight each other. But that being said, I could see okay, Bellum, Kane, Bimbo, they all have an easy path to attack us in the south. Lofty does. Karen does. The only people that are really far away at this point are Lawrence and Gizny. I guess Darmody, who apparently is mostly AFK. So, shit, I don't know. It's looking bad as a whole, but each individual front for now is doing pretty well. We're making progress in the south, we're making progress in the Midwest, and holding everywhere else. The question is, how long can Geostar Empire hold out and Awesome Dude hold out? But hopefully they can hold out long enough for us to continue to grow. And maybe there's some breakdown in the east. Okay, and I'll show you this too. This is Yars made this really nice map that shows what people own and where the circles, kind of where the battles took place. The blue circles are kind of one team consuming their own team, and the red are change of teams. So you can see that we swapped some stars internally and took 5 stars here. We took a bunch of stars in the middle. And then Stone Ape lost a lot of stars over here. And then Spy Mort as well got killed off over here. So that's kind of the action from the last, from tick 180 to 224. That what would that be, about 2 days, about a 2 day span. This is what the activity is around the map, and a very big lack of any exchanging of stars in this northeast. Cycle 12. Things continue to escalate. Bimbo continues to become the Godzilla that the creators hoped they would become, and just pulling away from everyone else. Stone Ape is about dead, and you'll see I've got a little bit more vision on what's going on. And while the northern stars may mess with Gizny, the fear is they're all going to come west. And if you look at JSE, he's got Team Lofty on him. He's got Lawrence on him. He's got everyone going at him. And so he's going to be, unfortunately, picked apart here soon. Before that happens, though, we are trying to deal with Bellum and get Bellum dealt with and removed. Kane came in and, of course, very timely used warp gates to get in place and fend off many of the attacks, keeping Bellum's homeworld safe. JSE's trying to clean up the mess here, but again, he's just getting hit from every angle. You have down here Yars, who did successfully take over Yahtzee. He's going to lose this battle, but he's going to keep pushing in, and I do think he'll take care of this business before too long. The bigger news is, what are we going to do about this situation? No one's working it with us, and we're falling behind. And so I had some conversations, and we needed to go from 1, 2, 3, 4 down to 3 to try to get the 3 left stronger. And so, looking at the count, it would make sense for me to be consumed. But Yars is very active, Macomer's active and can't lose the beat up in the top because he's fighting off everybody. GB is just on I think he's not on the same time zone as us. He's I think awake the opposite. And so it's really hard to coordinate with GB. And where the rest of us are kind of on a similar time and wake and sleep schedule. So we agreed to, and he was very kind to agree, to let Yars take the southern stars, for me to take the northern stars, and this will be our split. So I went ahead and programmed that in. I gave him a heads up notice. I'm just sending one ship for each, so he should have more than enough time to stop the looping and to get out of the way, so that and I'm going to let him, he'll keep these stars to get all the other ships out, and then I'll finish off those once it's clear. So, and really it's only going to take about 24 hours, I think the longest one. Yeah, 1 day, a day and a half. I should get all the stars from him. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. So another 18 stars. 18, 28 is 30, 46. It's going to get me right up there, and yards even higher. So we'll have 3 players. We'll have the 3 techs. That should give Yars enough firepower to help push back in the south. At the other battle going on here, I'm about to take this one back, but I basically just jumped over this blockade from Bio and from Scamp and from Karen, and just went right past them. I was able to get a couple stars here. I'm going to be able to hold this one, it looks like, and I think I'm going to lose up to here. I thought I was going to be able to snipe that, but he caught me. Karen caught me. And then the other thing you'll notice is Meat Hook is now owned by GB, at least temporarily. So Bio's going to take that back. He'll have 467 back, but nothing that this crew can't take again. And that took this big clump here away. So now this this force on my borders is down to just over, what is that, 1200? Again, and I have 800. I mean, again, he could, if he wanted to, he could do some damage, but he's being kind. And in the passivity, I'm able to get 2, 3, 7, 7 industries swapped over to me. So we'll see how things are later. But if GB is able to get this one again temporarily, and I'm assuming that would make him pull off again, and that's great. We're just whittling this down to the point where it's gone, and then over here, Yars has got a good foothold. Looks like he's fell asleep and he's going to lose 1 star, but it's fine. And then we got Awesome Dude fending off lofty attacks. So, we're making progress here. We're making a little progress here. We're going to strengthen up there. The biggest issue now is up north, where all those attacks were coming in. We fended them off successfully, but this 800 that had launched will die with only a little bit left, and then he takes it over. So this guy here in 3 ticks is going to take over with 36. They'll have 191, and then I arrive, and so I should win with 213. Lose it again. So this is a really big battle over the Han Solo replicant. But I think even if we lose it, it should be relatively stable. How did they get weapons 9? I hope they're not getting it from the enemy as well. But I think we get it like within an hour. But yeah, so even if we lose 1 star, we lose 1 star. The bigger issue then is you see Hex came stroll in after we're completely decimated with another 900 ships, and just sitting there looking at us. So yeah, a little ugly. Might take some damage, but again, hold strong. We're about to get what's our this is, if you haven't seen it, this is the Neptune's Pride agent, and everyone that you've got a key for, you can see where their research is. And so in this case, we see in 3 hours we get weapons, but then we're a whole cycle behind. But yeah, hopefully we can hold just a little bit longer here for us to divvy this up, punch through here, and then what I would do is I'm going to come right up this way, and hopefully we can just hold them off here. Just hold off Karen, push up here, and see what happens in the south. Cycle 13, more the same. Nothing major. We've started our consolidation. Yars and I are going to be splitting up GB. I've got that underway, and should not take long, so I'll get this cluster of stars in the top, and Yars will get all those. He started a little bit after me, but I think we'll be in good shape. GB's sending his ships over. We've got Bio completely out of the picture now. I think Bio's only got 3 stars left, 1, 2, 3, and these 2 will go pretty quick. That one will take a little longer. This is Dark Lord's original star. No progress here for Yars, but you can see we've really done a nice job clearing this out with thanks to GB and his ships getting in there and really dealing with that mess. He's got more clumps of stars coming. As a matter of fact, he's still, I think, out producing me, so all of this turns into Yars and I pretty quickly, so we should shoot up the charts and be real powerhouses really quick. And so with this, now we have a decision to make. We've kind of stalemated in the middle, and I think we may kind of keep it that way, because what's happening over here is JSE is getting consumed and will be gone very soon, and that means Yars's flank is open, and he may just have to be pushing directly into Lofty. In addition to that, we are doing nice work getting rid of Bellum, who's down to just 1,000 ships, and counting. Yars is going to go ahead and take this star here, and then we'll clean this mess up, and then he'll be gone, and we'll just be dealing with Kane, and then presumably Binbo will be joining that fight. But we'll see what happens once this happens and once JSE gets consolidated or gets killed off. We then have the north, and we finally had, this is interesting, we finally had, where is it? Oh, I basically I was like, hey, can we try again now that Jewel Fett's gone? Are you guys just going to let Bimbo win? No response is, I for one don't want him to win. That's all he said. And then with that, they started attacking all across the board. So you can see what an absolute disaster this looks like. Comer's doing a great job. He did lose the Han Solo replicant farm. We've been holding that for a long time. He's going to lose the Secret Ninja Monastery. There's just simply too many ships. But with some of this nonsense, he's taking the opportunity to just do a counter attack just to cause some disruption. Again, they have enemy 1,200 ships here against our 850, although I'm bringing in some more. But it's just, it's just not enough. And so Macomer may be short for this game as well, which is really unfortunate because it's our third player and would be the one, he's the one that's picking up terraforming. So what I need to do is as quickly as possible. The plan was, now that this is cleared off, for me to punch up this way north. And so you can see I've already got 300 ships going. I can claim this, then I can warp gate it, take this, and then they can't just push in on him. So we'll lose, even if we lose some stars, I'll basically take all of this, punch it right up through here, and I'm hoping be able to reclaim some territory, some lost territory there. And as long as Karen doesn't push too much, and if Karen's held back by Yars here, we don't need to make progress. We just need to hold our ground and deal up there. And so we're starting to lose ground here, but because we've made progress in this area, we should be able to recover. I'm hoping. And but the big issue right now is nobody else seems to be fighting except for JSC's team or my team, with one exception. And the only people that I heard fighting potentially is Gizny, wants to take on Bimbo, but doesn't think they can do it alone, which I don't know, they are pretty big over there. But I told them, you know what, we're going to be dealing with them in the south, so hopefully this battle starts that keeps Bimbo busy and then creates tension between other teams besides just me. I had a long conversation with Lofty, who I'm like, hey, you know what? Like, you kill us, you're in the middle, you're just going to get smushed from the northwest and the southeast. Didn't seem to be too bothered by it. Said he had plans, so we'll see. So yeah, let's see what happens here. We've got a little tick happening. No real movement here, and oh Jesus. Yeah, that's why they didn't cut the warp gate, because they had their own 1,000 ships coming in. Yeah, this is ugly. I'm just, you know what? I'm like a day late. I'm a day late getting this cleaned up and getting into the fight. I needed to be in this state a day ago and have all this infrastructure and this route established. We were just too slow in clearing this middle out. And yeah, now we're probably going to lose. But we'll see. I mean, one thing Lofty said is he won't deal with me until I get weaker as a team. So if we lose Macomer and I am able to get peace, he might be willing to attack. But then I'm down to just Yars and I. And that's going to be really tricky. So we'll see. We'll see what happens. Game's not over. I'll fight to the end. But looking a little grim up in the north. Cycle 14. This will be the last day of this video because we are clearly moving into the end game. I've been trying to negotiate with all the alliances. Star Empire and I have been working together since the beginning, pretty much. Very early on. But we've been at odds and at blows with Jubal Fett up in the corner in the northwest the whole game. Lofty never came around. And then Bellum and Kane basically are saying no, and everyone's pushing west. And I just kept trying, right? We're doing what we could. We can consolidate. We made some progress. You can see all this green It's a beautiful, beautiful green here. This yellow, that's us. But we couldn't take on the world because we're still just, what is that, like 20% of the map? So again, I've just been reaching out to people saying, now that things have shifted and we're kind of moving to this next phase of the game with significant stars falling and empires falling, like the Jewish Star Empire, and Bio is totally gone now. Kind of landscape shifts. And so here's a conversation. Lofty finally came and said, you know what, if you give Scamp Bio's old stars, you can have a ceasefire. And so you can focus on the north. I'm like, my first reaction was like, what? No, that's ridiculous. I'm like, well, specifically, what are you talking about? It's like all the ones you've labeled Bio X. So like this entire cluster. And I'm like, tell me more. If I give him those 9 stars, what do I get besides a temporary ceasefire for my third biggest threat? Who do you attack? Because he's burned me before, so give me the details and proof that you're going to hold it up. And he says, I said the ceasefire was you, not the rest of your team. And I'm like, all right, so tell me the whole plan, because right now it sounded like the plans for me that you want me to agree with is not really good. He's like, yeah, you get to live. And so my response was maybe not the kindest, because he's like, yeah, the plan is right now it's give me your stars and I'll kill your team. And, that's my response. No, fuck you. How about that for plan? That's my plan. And we went on and talked a little bit more, but at the end of the day, it was absolutely ridiculous. He's like, give me your stars and I kill your people, but I'll let you live. No. So then there was a conversation we had with the South, this United South. And honestly, I do appreciate Kane's response. Like, hey, we talked about it, we looked at it at every angle, and it just doesn't work. Good luck. So again, we got told just a ridiculous proposal from Lofty, which is funny because Lofty's like, oh, I'm a great diplomat, I'm a great negotiator. I mean, he's crap. He's terrible, a terrible negotiation. Or he's just trying to see if he can get free stars from me. But he's just insulting. I'm insulted, Lofty. I mean, it hurts me. It hurts me right there. At least Kane was like respectful and was like, no, thank you, but no. And I can appreciate that. And then, okay, so we're going to die. If everyone's pushing us, we're going to die. So finally, northwest corner, second attempt, we get a response that I'm like, okay. I don't want to speak out of turn, but, we just want to get Ninja Outpost. So let's just look at this. They want Ninja Outpost. Oopsie. They want, oh darn, didn't mean to click on that. Poggle, Fative, so those 3, and then Ninja Parquet, Ninja Headquarters. So like basically this top layer, which are some really nice stars, and including the home star of Chicago. And it pained me, and I was going to negotiate back, but at the end of the day, they could just take it. Like at this point, they can just take it, and I could route my ships up here, and we just self-destruct. So, and at the end of the day, I had no other option. If someone would have given me a better option, I would have done it. But that was at least fair and reasonable. And then they're like, and we would want a formal alliance so we could, like, you can't stab us. Like, I don't want to move my ships off the front until we can, we know you can't just immediately attack us when we leave. And I said, yeah, same with us. That makes sense. So then Hex did a really nice job, Team 1 and 5, the next phase. And he wrote up the plan. Here's the plan from Team 1. They've got basically almost everyone but Jubal Fett's alive. Gizni's over here a little bit on an island, but they got 5 and we've got 3, which actually plays to our benefit in the big picture. So basically, he says iHex is going to hit Lawrence, which makes sense, right? Like these two are going to fight right away. and that should be quick, and then he'll move on to Darmody, because basically Lawrence has been sending all his ships down. And if you look down into Jewish Star Empire, you can see he's like sending all his crap all the way down here. So he's just got this flow of ships going down there because, because the whole world thought, the whole universe, the whole galaxy thought it made sense just to kill these teams and not fight locally. So good on Team Jubelfett, good on, and I think this is more Hex than anyone, at least from what I can tell, on recognizing this is your opportunity. So let's do it. So iHex takes Lawrence and pushes into Darmody, right? This up here is Gizny. So then they're united with Gizny. Grasshopper and Belson, right? So the people that we've been fighting the most with, will strike Not a Scam. That makes a ton of sense to me too, right? They're going to push right in there, and in the region of right in that region, and that region. Yeah, perfect. You hit that stuff, and because I'm going to come down this way, so they're going to go and take those things out. So he's going to move in to cover my cluster around here. So Macomber going to cover that, and strike at the south around there. Okay, great. He's even giving us stars to grow on. So okay, fine. Giving us like 2, but okay. There's the plan, and then there's what we're going to do, but we'll get to that. Karen, hold the line. So Karen's just sitting here, basically been fighting us the whole damn game, and he actually had, like, we just sniped in this conversation. We sniped about 5 stars from him. I'm about to take 1 more, but like he had these 2, he had a bunch in here, and while we're negotiating, because we have momentum, I just took them all because I'm like, screw that. I'm taking these stars. So you want to negotiate these 5 stars up here? Fine, I'm going to take 5 from him down here. So that's why I feel okay about that exchange. Don't let any ships die if possible. Defend against Lofty and try to soak his hits. Now, fine. Gizny, similar. Play defensive. And basically what he wants is us to go and be the wrecking ball and them to clean up. So, fine. When you look at that plan, that is fine. Oh yeah, what did he say for me? Graymason and Yars are a pretty clear path. The fight in the south against Kane and crew. So he wants me to go all the way down here, and maybe I can, but I think what Yars is going to need is he's going to need to just fight these guys, and if I can get down there, I will. But at the same time, I'm not down there, and so what I'm gonna, and what he's saying is, he wants us down there, but here's what's going to happen. The way this works out for us is we let them duke it out, and that's good. That's going to draw some attention, and that's going to draw Bimbo to deal with them in the north. While they're doing that, I'm not going to go and not take stars and just fly all these ships down here. I'm going to go directly into the middle, right in the south of Karen, and I'm going to take these stars, and I'm going to try to take all the stuff up north, and then basically so we cut this board, and we'll have, boom, I want to take this whole southern half for 3 people, and they have, less than half for 5. That's the goal here. And I need to then figure out at what point do we talk to Kane and Bimbo about working with us versus the 5 in the north. Maybe they still won't, but that's the plan. I don't know how it's going to fare. I know if we don't do it, we're going to die, and it's the only offer on the table. So I'm going to take it. I'm going to abide by it and honor it, and be a greedy son of a bitch who takes as much as I can and grows to the point where when they want to fight us, it'll be too late. And hopefully they'll have pissed off the South, that the South wouldn't unite against them, and will continue to fight them, and we win. That's the plan. Can we pull it off? Tune into the next episode to see.
Thanks for watching. If you enjoyed this, click on the link for the next episode, and don't forget to click subscribe for more content.